Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the pod. We're continuing with the 9 lessons learned from the Creator Weekend that I got to spend. Again, for those who are just tuning in for the first time on this episode, weekend ago or 2 weekends ago at this point, I was invited to hang out with 15 incredible, amazing creators and entrepreneurs and to get together and learn and grow from one another. And I'm sharing with you the 9 lessons that I walked away from that event with. And so I think we're on lesson number 7. If you haven't listened to the first 6, I highly recommend checking those out because there's a lot of meat there. But today's lesson is that communication is a key that unlocks any door. Now, you may very well be brilliant, but if you can't articulate your ideas simply and concisely through the written and or spoken word, then the world is going to think you're an idiot. And I think this is why I preach so hard about the importance of learning how to write, because I get it. Writing sucks. It's hard, it's slow, it's tedious, and most of us really suck at it. And I don't think the school did any of us any favors. If anything, it just reinforced how difficult it actually is, which is a shame because for me, writing is a superpower. It's not just a superpower. I think it's the superpower because writing is the physical manifestation of your ephemeral thoughts. It is, for me at least, simultaneously the means of caging my chaotic mind and unleashing it. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever meditated, you've probably, like in very short order, realized just how much your monkey brain jumps from one thought to the next thought to the next thought, and how it just does it constantly. Now, for me, writing is the process by which we take that monkey by the hand and we hold that monkey's hand as we walk it from point A to point Z. And all along the way, that damn monkey is fighting us because he's a dick. Your monkey brain, it hates sitting still long enough to do anything of value, really. In particular, it really hates sitting still long enough for the time required to force a thought out through the choke point of your pen or your keyboard, which is inherently slow. But I find that if you persist, if you do write, if you take the hand of that monkey and you guide it through your thoughts, then you come out the other side with something very powerful, which is clarity of thought. And when you're able to distill your thoughts and then effectively communicate them to the world, you unlock something else that's incredibly powerful: influence. Now, the people at that event that I was fortunate enough to hang out with and spend the weekend with were some of the most influential people I've ever met. And it's not because they were charismatic or smart. It's because they had a deep conviction in what they were saying. And that conviction was born from the fact that they had done the hard work of thinking about things on more than just a surface level. And truthfully, if you don't currently have some sort of formalized daily thinking practice, and I don't know how else to say this, but you are falling behind. You are falling behind, and you are, maybe more importantly, because that's a little bit like external focus, right? Like, where am I in relation to everybody else, and how am I doing? And that's not even the most important thing, because as Aristotle said, the unexamined life is not worth living. And if you're not making time to think, then are you really taking this life for granted? Are you taking it seriously? Are you doing the hard work necessary to go beneath the surface, to live beyond just a shallow existence, to get to the meat and potatoes of what it actually means, this thing that we're doing on this spinning ball that goes around that fiery sphere in the inky black space? That was a really weird analogies for the earth and the sun. But anyways, authorial license, that's what you get sometimes. Anywho, I think writing, if you're in a place in your life right now where you feel lost, you feel overwhelmed, you're not living in alignment with your greatness, and you know that you have potential, but for whatever reason, you're just not making progress towards it, start with writing. Start with a daily writing practice. It could be journaling in the morning, and this doesn't have to be like a super formalized process. You don't have to write brilliant things. What you need to do is make a habit of sitting with your thoughts, with wrestling with them and forcing them to make sense. And not just taking for granted that because they exist in your brain that you actually have some sort of opinion or valid, deep understanding of a topic. Because most of the times, for me at least, I have a chaotic jumble of thoughts on all sorts of topics. But it isn't until I sit down to write them that I come to a deeper understanding of what I actually believe on that topic. And this is why writing the newsletter that I put out every week for free called the Hyperfocus Entrepreneur. If you guys aren't subscribed to that, go join. We have like 16,000 people getting that newsletter every single week. You can go to anthonyvicino.com/newsletter. Anyways, the value of that newsletter, or the value of tweeting every single day, or the value of writing scripts for YouTube is not so much for you guys. Like, truly, there is a lot of value in that, and that brings me a lot of joy and gratitude. But the true value is in what I learn about what I think. Because a lot of times it might seem like I have these, I'm going to give myself maybe too much credit here, so give me some leeway. It may seem like I know more about things, or have frameworks for all of these things, or that I've thought deeply on these things for a long, long time. So when you read an article from me, I know, because I've heard this from people, they go, oh, like, this framework is amazing. It's clear that you've been working on this for a long time. And the truth is, it's not. It's been in the back of my head, but it hasn't been until I'm forced to write it down that the framework, that the structure, that the cohesion actually is created. And if I never took the time to write down, I don't think that I would be any more thoughtful or considered or comprehending of this world than any other average person out there in the world. I truly don't. I think writing, without that, like, my ability to think is neutered. I think I'm actually a really weak thinker if you took away the pen and paper. And so if that's true for me, it might be true for you. And in my experience of having, again, fortunately being around a lot of people who are very successful in life at this point, I see more than just a correlation. I see a causation. They all write. They are all amazing writers, and they're all amazing communicators. And it leads me to believe that communication is the key that can unlock any door. And so, guys, I hope this brings you a little bit of value. If not, then write me a letter. Tell me why. Just trying to get you guys to write. That's all I'm trying to do here. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for being here. As always, really looking forward to seeing you back around these parts tomorrow. But until then, stay hyper-focused, my friend.